Chapter 8, Betrayal, or Layler Tub. Sergeant Melly didn't take his eyes off of me. Good, he said. Now what's all this about a body? I stared at him. A body, I said. My voice was shaking. That's right, replied Sergeant Melly. You said you didn't know anything about a body. Now who told you this had anything to do with a body? I didn't know what to say. My mouth went dry and my hands started sweating. I wanted to look away from Sergeant Melly, but I couldn't. I felt like I was a small animal staring into the eyes of a cobra. I felt like I was about to be eaten alive. And then Simon broke in. But the cops were talking about it. They told us someone had been killed. We just figured there was a body. Sometimes Simon is the best friend a guy could have. Sergeant Melly looked away from me and turned to Simon. You're the smart one, aren't you? He said. I try, sir, Simon replied. Get out of here, both of you, said Sergeant Melly. Go on home, but if you think of anything, I want you to tell me. Hear what I'm saying? Simon and I got out of there as fast as we could. I knew Simon was dying to talk to me, but our parents were all over us. The next couple of hours were a little crazy. My parents took me to the hospital. Then they yelled at me the whole time the doctor was checking out my foot. I had sprained my ankle, so the hospital gave me crutches to use for a few days. I wish they had given me earplugs, too. When I got home, I was grounded. Not that I minded. I needed a weekend locked in my house. No way I was going outside after what had happened. In fact, maybe I'd just stay in my room forever. I was just reading a comic book when Ellen knocked on my door. I brought you a note from Simon, she said. I grabbed the note from her. This is what Simon and I do when we're grounded. The note was in our bat language. This means you change the vowels around like this. A, E, I, O, U, and Y. A becomes Y, E becomes U, I becomes O becomes I, U becomes E, and Y becomes A. So my name, Sam, is spelled S-Y-M, except to make it harder, you write the words backwards. So Sam is M-Y-S. Simon is N-I-M-O-S. Simon wrote A-H-W-D-O-D-E-I-A-U-O-L. I wrote a note back. O-D-Y-H-I-T. T-O-S-Y-W-M-O-H-A-L-L-U-M. Why did you lie? I had to. It was him, Melly. I called Ellen. You have to pay $1, she said. I gave her the money and waited. Sure enough, she was back in a few minutes with another one. Simon wrote, A-L-L-U-M? Oh, T-N-I-D-T-U-G-2. So I gave Ellen another $1 and sent back another note. Soon I had another note from Simon. I was so mad I didn't send another note. Did Simon think I had made this all up? I knew it was Melly. He was the one called Boss. The next day was Monday, and my mom said she'd drive me to school. But I'm grounded, I said. I can't go to school. Don't be an idiot, my mom said. So what they were saying in the back code below or above, it said Melly. I don't get it. Melly was in the graveyard. I heard him. Yeah, right. So don't be an idiot, said my mom. You're only grounded evenings and weekends. Of course you're going to school. I tried begging, please, Mom, please, don't make me go. I can't leave the house. I just can't. Please. What's the matter with you, Sam? Here's your lunch. Get in the car. Simon was waiting for me in the schoolyard. He looked all around to make sure no one was listening. Are you nuts? He whispered. It can't be Sergeant Melly. Was too, I said. I heard him. He kept saying, hear what I'm saying? At the graveyard. And he said it to us yesterday, too, so there. Are you sure? Simon asked. Sure, I'm sure. I felt sick as soon as he started talking to me. It was him, all right. We have to tell somebody, said Simon. I nodded. We have to tell a cop, said Simon. Sergeant Melly is a cop, I reminded him. And then Simon did that thing he does when he's thinking. He closed his eyes and screwed up his face. Officer Brannon, he shouted. Officer Brannon had helped us catch the drug dealer last month. She knows us. She might just believe us. Good plan, I said. We had to wait a whole week until I could walk again, and my mom wasn't driving me back. And fourth, then Simon and I went to the police station one night after supper. In a few minutes, we were with Officer Brannon. So I hear you boys have been in trouble again, eh? She said. Big trouble, I answered. What do you mean? She asked. You won't believe this, I said. I don't even believe it, said Simon. Shut up, I told him. It's the truth. Then I told Officer Brannon about what really happened at the graveyard. I told her about the dead body. I told her about Sergeant Melly. She looked at me as if I had two heads. This is crazy, she said. It's the truth, I repeated. She sat there thinking for a while, not talking to us. Then she got up. Wait right here, she said, and left the room. In a few minutes she came back, and behind her was Sergeant Melly. Dun, dun, dun.